Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
Were you having issues with these parties and this entertainment?
Yes, I was.
I typically ask questions that I already know the answer to.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And was it just too many? Was it just too loud? In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. Stop. Is that true? I don't want you to understand. I want you to overstand.
Yes, sir.
That's why they pay me the big bucks. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. That's not gonna happen. Not up in here, not today. And boom goes the dynamite.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Marianne Gold claims her careless roommate burned a hole in her sofa with a cigarette and says it was the last straw. Ms. Gold is suing Dolly Jansen in the amount of $1,900. Ms. Jansen is countersuing for $1,700.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties have been sworn, Your Honor.
Third Deputy Thomas. Ms. Gold, you're suing Ms. Jansen for $1,900. Ms. Jansen, you're suing Ms. Gold for $1,700. And both of you have to convince me that you're entitled to this money. Ms. Gold, we'll start with you.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm suing this woman because she put
This woman, didn't you guys used to be roommates?
Yes, we did.
So you
used
know
to be
who she
roommates.
is.
Well, I do, but right now I just didn't want to look at her because it makes me sad that what she did to my furniture.
Okay, well, let's start
helped her out.
talking about what actually happened, that the two of you were in the same vicinity. How did you end up being roommates?
Our daughters were best friends at college, and they thought it would be good for us to move in together, or me to move in, because she didn't want me to live by myself.
Your daughter
older.
didn't want you living by yourself?
Yes.
Because?
Because she felt that I needed a roommate, and I was trying to appease my daughter.
Okay, and would you live alone?
Yes.
Had you had any issues?
I actually lived with her. No, I hadn't had any issues, but
no
as you
issues
get
with
older,
memory, no health issues, no.
No, I'm very healthy. I travel the world. I still work. However, things can happen, and I think that she was thinking ahead, so to speak.
And Ms. Jansen, let me come over to you. What's your story?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Well, I was living in this apartment nicely by myself.
For how
and my
long?
daughter thought it was not okay for me to live by myself.
How long had you been living alone?
5 years.
5 years. What happened prior to those 5 years?
Well, I did have a little bout with cancer.
Okay.
And lately I've been falling, and I had 3 significant falls. And
in what span of time? 3 falls in 6 months, a year?
6 months, yeah.
What do you think's causing the falling?
Clumsiness.
Okay. And you said you've been living alone for 5 years.
Yes.
Prior to that, who were you living with?
I was married.
And
I'm now a widow.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear. So you've been dealing with some stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit, just a smidget, just a tad.
Hey,
Yeah, dealing with
it makes me what I am today.
But look at you. You're seemingly thriving, and you're here, and you're a cancer survivor. You survived the loss of a husband. You've got grown kids. You're dealing with maybe some health challenges. And your daughter said, Mom, I'm thinking we're going to have to flip the script here a little bit and change it up.
Exactly. She just didn't want me to live alone in case of an emergency. She never said come live with her, but,
I understand. I'm just saying. And you thought, Miss Gold, it was a good idea to move in. You thought, what, maybe I can save some money?
Yes, maybe I can save some money. I can bring, she didn't have much furniture, I heard, so I could bring my furniture, my table, my love seat, and my sofa over to her house and share. So I thought that would be a good idea.
What happened? What was it? Just a personality conflict, or what?
In the beginning, I think it was okay. However, I mean, okay meaning that
It's
we
tough to
tried
share
to get
space,
along. It
though.
is, and I really didn't want to share anyway, because I'm independent. However, I love to entertain, and she.
Now, what does that mean when you say you love to entertain?
Oh, I love to throw parties, card games, a little bid whisk maybe.
Ooh,
and
I
some
like a good bit.
activity.
Don't threaten me with a good time now. Come on.
And we used to have ice cream Sunday socials at the house.
And how many people would you typically invite over for
About
these?
about 5 to 10.
Okay.
5 to 10
Well, 10
women.
people, that's a lot of folks in one space.
Yes, it is. Well, it was a big apartment. so
Okay.
kind of-
And were you having issues with these parties and this entertainment?
Yes. Yes, I was.
I typically ask questions that I already know the answer to.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And was it just too many? Was it just too
Well,
loud?
at first she said she was going to have a card game once a week. Okay.
Once a week, okay.
But then she has these ice cream socials or some other excuse. Oh, there's something on TV that she wants all of her friends to see. There were people there all the time. I like my privacy.
Coming up on America's Court.
Got to invite this one, and this one, and this one's mother, and this one's sister.
Well, you were invited all the
I
time.
love
so
the hand gestures. The mother, the sister, everybody's just all up in the space here.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Marianne Gold, who is suing Dolly Jansen for property damage.
Part of living with someone involves compromise. And you knew by her moving in, you were going to have to compromise in some situations.
And I believe I did.
Okay. The parties were too frequent.
Yes.
once a week, I don't think so.
Once a week is your card game. And then you've got all these other little things where you've got to invite this one, and this one, and this one's mother, and this one's sister.
Well, you were invited all the
I
time.
love
so
the hand gestures. The mother, the sister, everybody's just all up in the space here.
You were invited, remember?
So that got on your nerves.
Yes.
Tell me something else that got on your nerves.
Well, she's not as neat as I am.
Is that a fair statement, Ms. Gold?
That is not true. No. That is,
Judge, you getting ready to put your hand on your hip in a minute.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, but washing dishes after you use them is standard.
For
You
who?
don't put them in the sink.
Well, wait a minute.
For you,
So-
exactly.
I know my own mother. If I go over that house and I have a cup or a plate, and 10, 15 minutes later, it's still in the sink, she's like, are you going to do something? I'm like, really?
Exactly. Exactly.
Is that sort of your mindset of there's a certain window of time that dish or that silverware or that plate needs to either be in the dishwashing machine or washed and put away?
Exactly.
And you're more, if it's an hour or 2 or 3, what's
Or
the
the
big
morning.
deal?
Exactly.
Or the morning. What's the big deal?
What's the big deal? It gets clean eventually, doesn't it?
So she wasn't neat enough. What else?
Oh, other than her friends all the time and her nagging
About
that I
what?
quit smoking. It's not her business.
Are you still smoking right now?
Yes.
See, exactly, Your Honor, exactly.
Let's rewind the tape. Didn't you say you had cancer?
Well, I did. I had cancer, yes, and I'm in remission.
Okay. Do you think that smoking cigarettes helps with the cancer that's in remission, or could possibly hinder that?
Oh, it could probably hinder it.
And I'm sure the doctors are like, okay, now that you're a cancer survivor, you're going to need to make some lifestyle changes. You're probably going to need
Why? I already had cancer.
to... Okay.
I like to smoke. It makes me feel good, especially when I'm home alone.
Are you a smoker yourself?
No, Judge, not anymore. 22 years ago.
And you knew you were going into the home of someone who smoked?
I actually thought that she wasn't going to do it around me out of politeness.
So it just wasn't a good fit overall.
It was
No.
not.
What's the $1,900 reflect?
The $1,900 is for and I have a receipt for that,
Show me.
for my furniture.
What happened with your furniture that requires $1,900?
The sofa, she just put a cigarette out in it. Who does that?
Were you smoking and then a cigarette burn ended up on one of her?
An ash fell off the end of the cigarette.
Okay.
It happened.
The ash came from a cigarette you were smoking?
Yes.
And the ash fell on a piece of property that belonged to her, a piece of furniture?
Yes.
Did it cause damage?
A little hole.
Okay, that's a yes.
Yes.
And you don't have to pay for that because?
Oh, I'm willing to pay for the repair.
Okay, well,
She never asked me to do
what's
that.
the issue in terms of a repair versus what, you want a whole new item?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it was on the arm of the sofa?
No, it was on the seat, the seat cushion.
So one of the cushions was damaged?
Yes, sir.
Because you gave me
haven't-
something for a table and a recliner. I don't see anything about a sofa.
Here is just the lemon modular
You got
couch.
more of she
Yes,
has.
I do.
And do you have
Josh,
anything
wanna
else
give
to give Deputy Thomas?
I have a picture. I have a
makes
picture
one trip.
Bring it
of my
on.
beautiful gray
And you are
sofa
making him
that she
take
put
two.
a hole
There
in
we
it.
go.
All right.
And an ash does not make a round hole like that. It just, you have to go psh, like that, and then it makes a hole.
Okay, and this is the sofa
Yeah.
that I'm looking at here in the picture where the hole is. Okay, so that cushion can be reupholstered. All right, and so the $639 would be the cost for a new one?
Yes.
Okay, the sofa wasn't new.
I used it a little,
Yes, you did.
it's slightly used.
Yes, it
Gently
is.
used.
It is. All right, so you know you're going to have to pay some money, Miss Jansen, for her sofa being damaged. What's
She
the
could
story?
flip the cushion.
Well,
It doesn't work like that.
or you can pay. Now, which one do you think I'm going with? Pick me a. I know the answer.
All right, pick
I'm
you.
going with the one that she's entitled to be in the position she was prior to the hole from the ash.
Okay.
All right, coffee table. What's the story? Why do you
What?
need a new coffee table?
It was part of the set, so I just threw that in there.
Hey, you gotta love that logic.
Okay, you got me up here cackling. All right.
Coming up on America's Court.
Why are they still in the apartment?
She hasn't come by to get them.
Why haven't you come get them?
Because, Your Honor, she's never there when I call, when I text.
This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Marianne Gold, who is suing Dolly Jansen for property damage.
Nothing wrong with the coffee table.
No, Your Honor.
Nothing wrong with the recliner.
No, outside of it had smoke on it, it smelled like smoke from her frequent smoking. That could be, yes, I like that.
Okay. How long were you at the apartment?
4 months,
All
only
right.
4 months.
All right.
4 months too long.
And so I'm not really feeling the monies for the table or the recliner. You can get that clean, so I'll calculate that.
Okay, agreed.
So you have all these items, but
No, I don't have them, Your Honor. They're in her apartment, but she's never there for me to pick them up.
why are they still in the apartment?
She hasn't come by to get them.
Why haven't you come get them?
Because, Your Honor, she's never there when I call, when I text, when I email.
How many
She doesn't-
times have you called, text, or email about picking up your
numerous
plates?
times.
More than 5?
More than 5.
More than 10?
More than 10.
All right, more than 20?
No.
At least 10
But I
times?
don't think I should have, yes, at least 10 times. That's enough.
Have you received calls, texts, emails about her picking up her stuff?
Yes, but she wants to come
More
like
than
it.
5 times?
Yes,
More than 10 times?
probably around 10.
All right, somewhere around 10 times, and you all haven't been able to coordinate her picking up her stuff.
No.
That's a problem.
Yes.
So you can either give her the money for everything, or you can say, this is the date, this is the time, you all agree on it, she picks it up. Is that what we're doing?
We could do that.
Okay. So now what are you suing for? $1,700 is what?
Well, when she decided to leave, she left without notice.
Coming up on America's Court.
Okay, you didn't want to have that legal protection.
I didn't think of it as legal protection.
Think of it. Because that's what it is.
This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Marianne Gold, who is suing Dolly Jansen for property damage.
Is that true, Ms. Gold? Is that true?
Yes.
You left without
Yes,
notice?
Your Honor.
All right. Were you on the lease?
No, I was not on the lease.
You're not on the lease, which means you're not a tenant, you're an occupant.
Yes.
Why isn't she on the lease, Ms. Jansen?
I never put her on.
Okay, you didn't want to have that legal protection.
I didn't think of it as legal protection.
Think of it. Because that's what it is. I want you to think hard. So your $1,700 reflects what?
The month coming up that she was not there. She left right before the rent was due.
Okay.
And I had to come up with
Your
the whole
portion
amount.
was $1,700?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Did you give her at least 30 days?
I did not. I
And
was
why
just fed
not?
up. I was fed up. I was fed up with the smoking.
Okay, how much notice did you give her?
I didn't give her any notice. I just left.
That's a problem. Because if I don't have a lease agreement, then I have to treat it as a month-to-month. And in month-to-month situations, they require what?
30-day notice.
30-day notice. And still move.
Or stop smoking.
Well,
smoking
even if
got
she,
to do
let's
with it?
assume for the sake of this discussion, she had stopped smoking. You still weren't happy with the fact that she didn't like you entertaining, and you still weren't happy with the fact she was nagging you over keeping the place clean. So it just wasn't a good fit. So when you say, I'm out, you type, text, put it on a legal pad, I'm giving you notice that this is it, and blah, blah, blah.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
So what we got is $1,700 that Ms. Jansen is otherwise entitled to, offset by the cost of the furniture and the cleaning of the what was it, the recliner that may have
The
had some
sofa.
smells on it or something,
Yes, Your Honor.
as well as the sofa itself. So based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel is going to come down in favor of the plaintiff in your matter. Instead of the $1,900, you're entitled to $550. And an understanding that she is going to set up a time and date mutually agreed upon for the deliverance of your property. If she cancels, reneges, if there's anything that falls through, then I'm actually going to award her a total of $1,900. So that's going to give you an additional incentive to make sure she gets her property
Thank you,
back.
Your Honor.
As it relates to the counterclaim, you are entitled to that $1,700. And so when we look at the $1,700 minus the $550, that still leaves you, Ms. Gold, with owing Ms. Jansen $1,150. That is the order, ladies.
Thank you,
Case
Your
closed.
Honor.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of both parties. The plaintiff has been ordered to pay $1,150.
I hope you have a great life. Really. Just get out of mine.
I hope you learn your manners. But this wasn't fair.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.